Hello, my name is Andy and I am the Village Idiot. I'm armed with a car and a GoPro and an unhealthy amount of time on my hands. I'm using that time to attempt to visit every civil parish in England. You're watching the West Lindsey series. This is one of the 9 districts of Lincolnshire and one of the county's most rural. It has 128 civil parishes. Let's see which one this episode's all about. Welcome back to West Lindsey, folks. Now, last week we were in the parish of Toft, Newton. Now this week we're coming to the north. I'm standing on the parish boundary between Toft, Newton and today's, which is this road right here. And alongside this road there's a mound, earthworks. Very difficult to see because, as you can see, there's plenty of vegetation in the way. That is known to the locals as Broken Back. I'm not quite sure why, but it may be something to do with a film. I don't know. I've no idea. Anyway, you'll find that and everything else I'm about to show you in today's episode in the parish of West Rasen. The West Lindsey series is sponsored by Gainsborough Cycles 01427 617 752. For all your cycling needs, this is your one-stop shop, located at 20 Ropery Road or online at gainsboroughcycles.com. There's a link in the description. Gainsborough Cycles, ask for Trevor Halstead. And this video is also sponsored by Jamie's Fitness Studio, based on Low Road, Greyingham, near Curtin in Lindsey. Jamie is one busy lady. Check her out by calling 07906 749 574 or emailing hello@jamies.co.uk. Online membership is available. There's a link to her Facebook page in the description. Jamie's Fitness Studio. Get fit, get happy, get healthy. Here's my disclaimer for people who may be watching me for the first time. I say things as I would in my native accent and dialect. As a result, I may not pronounce things in the same way as the locals do. Remember, I'm a visitor. It's impossible to know everything. Leave me a comment, spin me a like and bash that subscribe button. Let's get to today's parish video. For the first time in the West Lindsey series, we're in a place with the word Rasen in its name. There are 3 of these: Market Rasen, Middle Rasen and, where we are today, West Rasen. Whilst Market Rasen might be the biggest and most important of the 3 these days, historically that honour was bestowed upon West Rasen. At the time of the Norman conquest, it included parts of what we know today as Middle Rasen, Toft next Newton and Newton by Toft. It once had a population of around 500, but these days it's only about 60. It was an important place for the crossing of the River Rase by way of a bridge or 2. It lies on what was the main route for mail coaches travelling between Louth and Bawtry. It's mad to think then that until as late as 1860 there was no road here. Religiously, West Rasen was a bit of an anomaly. Lincolnshire was vastly Protestant in the 16th century, but West Rasen was a Roman Catholic enclave. That was thanks to the Paynell family, lords of the manor at the time, who refused to obey King Henry VIII, and West Rasen remained Catholic until the early 1900s. The last lord of the manor was the Duke of Norfolk, and the estate was sold in 1937. Today, West Rasen is a place many just pass through on the A631, but it's well worth stopping for. It's one of only 3 places in Lincolnshire with a 14th century packhorse bridge. Let's go and find it. We start at the western end of the village at an information board which gives us some great stuff about the history of West Rasen and some of its landmarks. One of the things it mentions is this thatched house, a rare sight in West Lindsey. This was the village's former shop and post office. Now a house, it dates from the late 17th century. Likely to have been of mud and stud construction originally, it's now underbuilt in red brick. Here's a parish notice board. Mark off West Rasen, folks. That's 93 down in total now, and that's the first of the Rasens in the books. 2 more to come. The street this is all located on is called Bridge View, a reference to not just one, but 2 bridges that cross the River Rase, which runs through the village. One of them is much more notable than the other, owing to the fact that it's a 14th century packhorse bridge, and we're about to walk over it. Okay, so we need to cross the River Rase here, and to do that we need to cross this bridge. Now this is a very, very historic bridge. We've mentioned packhorse bridges before, but I don't think we've ever walked on one. I'm just going to show you what it looks like down the side of it. Look at this. This is absolutely fabulous. So as you can see, there are 2 bridges here. There's one carrying the road, but of course that thing would have carried horses in its time. That's why it's a pack horse bridge. So let's go across it. Ancient, this. One of the village's most important landmarks. There we go. Over the River Rase. And later on we'll cross the other bridge, just for good measure. West Rasen's Packhorse Bridge was built in 1310 by John Dolderley, a former Bishop of Lincoln. For that reason it's sometimes known as Bishop's Bridge. It was built at the height of the wool trade in Lincolnshire. Many religious establishments relied upon that wool trade for their income. This may explain the bishop's involvement in this very bridge. There are only 2 other 14th century packhorse bridges in Lincolnshire, making this a rare find. Bishop Dolderley, though, is known to have built other bridges over water, including ones as far away as Biggleswade in Bedfordshire. Before it existed, it's believed there was a wooden toll bridge and a watermill on the river. Moving away from the bridge via a public footpath, we've now followed the River Rase for a short way upstream to a small weir. We'll be back to the river again very shortly, but we're now heading for the church, which stands to the east of the village where the A631 bends towards Market Rasen. Okay, so the board that we saw in the centre of the village only gave 5 notable landmarks here in West Rasen. We've seen 2 of them already, so let's head into the church now. This is the 3rd of the 5. As you can see, it's behind this rather large tree. We'll see what this is all about. Hopefully it's open. The parish church is a Grade 1 listed building dedicated to All Saints. It dates from the 11th century, and like the Packhorse Bridge, it's built of ironstone. In the churchyard is a cross, which is 14th century originally, although this was restored in the 19th. This is both Grade 2 listed and a scheduled monument. Above the main door here, there's an inscribed tablet which records that restoration work was carried out here in 1829 and 1830. Let's go inside. As you can see, this one's lacking a bit of colour in places, but in some ways that's part of its charm. The church's former North Aisle chapel was originally a chantry founded in 1373 for John Pooger. This was dissolved in 1548. The font here is 15th century, and the chancel features an early English-style priest door. On the wall in the chancel there's a few tablets, and most of, if not all of them, make a reference to one name over and over again. Well, it seems the name Cooper is very, very important to West Rasen because most of these tablets make reference to it. There are 3 Coopers on this one of which was the rector of this very church. Opposite, up there, there's another Cooper, Guilherme? Sounds Spanish. Guilherme Cooper, STB. Don't know what STB stands for, but that's to do with a Cooper as well. There could well be more, so let's check out the other tablets and see what they say. Here we go. William Waldo Cooper, priest. Another one. Louis George Herbert Cooper. Henry Francis Cooper. So there's plenty of Coopers who have been part of this part of West Lindsey. You can definitely say that, can't you? Okay, let's head out of the church now and head across the River Rase again. There is another church here in West Rasen. It's a former Roman Catholic church. It's on the main A631 back towards where we started. Leaving the church behind, we're now heading back towards the river and down the A631 towards the village's old Roman Catholic chapel and school. This was built in 1872 and was given to the village in 1943. According to the information board where we began, this was restored in 2002 and turned into a village hall and heritage centre. It goes on to say that this can be hired out and used for a variety of functions, much like any other village hall can. Now to cross back over the river. The bridge we're on here was built to replace an older stone arched bridge that dated from 1856. Before this existed, the River Race had to be forded. Horses could still use the Packhorse Bridge, but when it was flooded, carts would have to wait for the water to recede, sometimes for days on end. The last part of the walk sees us amble onto Forge Lane, an accurate name because down here there's the last of those 5 landmarks, the Old Forge. So I expected the forge was quite close to the end of the road, but it's actually not. It's a long way down. It's here. I just have to sort of keep walking and hope I hadn't walked past it. There it is. There's the old forge right there. So yeah, that's all 5 of the important landmarks which the board in the centre of the village showed us. So that's really it for West Rasen. There are a couple of houses and things on the 631 sort of that way towards Gainsborough, but I don't think I'll be missing much if I don't go up there. That's it pretty much. Yeah, do hope you've enjoyed this one. Very small parish, but one that used to be bigger, and it's a nice precursor actually for the other Rasens. There's a Middle Rasen, and obviously there's Market Rasen as well, and they'll be coming out very soon. But for now, this has been the parish of West Rasen, and I've been Andy, also known as the Village Idiot, and I'm out.